Hi, welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today I am doing a really big book haul. My goal was to buy less books this summer, but that kind of didn't work out. However, all of these books were thrifted or bought from like thrift books or second sale. So I didn't pay much for most of these. In fact, a lot of these are from library book sales where I paid 10 cents a book. So when it's that cheap, you just can't pass it up, right? So we will dive in. I will start with my thrift books and second sale purchases. I got The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. I have already read this one and talked about it quite a bit. But since I needed to get it for a read along and didn't want to pay full price, I had to get a few extra books so I could get that free shipping. So I got The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. I read this book in March and just loved it so much. So I'm excited to own this one. And I also got Everything That Rises Must Converge by Flannery O'Connor. This was like hardcore me being influenced by Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space. We've kind of discovered that we love a lot of the same books, and Flannery O'Connor is one of her favorite authors, and I have read exactly nothing from her. So decided to get this one because I think it ended up only being like $3 or $4. So totally worth it, and I totally love the cover. Another book I got for a readathon is Jurassic Park, and that's sitting around here somewhere. I am currently reading that one. And then in October, we're reading The Lost World, so I got that one too. And in order to get free shipping, I bought Ink Death by Cornelia Funk. I love the Inkheart series. This is book 3 and the only one that I don't own. I've been looking at thrift stores for it forever and just haven't been able to find it. So finally bit the bullet and bought a copy through Thrift Books. It's weird because it's like a library, ex-library. Then it's got like this, so like cut off the library barcode. So whatever, I need to just take the dust jacket off because it's totally fine underneath. All right, so we shall move on to thrifted books. I got this bind up of E.M. Forster books. I read A Room with a View earlier this year and really liked it. It was $2 for this book and it's got 3 in there, so couldn't say no to that. I bought Crispin by Avi. The only Avi books I've read are from like the Poppy series, which is about a mouse. But I've seen this book like everywhere and heard good things about it. I also bought Horses of the Dawn. This is for my daughter. It's a Catherine Lasky book, and she has really enjoyed the Catherine Lasky books she's read so far, which is the Guardian of Ga'Hoole series and then the Tangled in Time series. I found A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson. This is a book that I have wanted to read for a while and was originally like kind of planning to read for nonfiction this year and just haven't gotten around to it. So when I found it at a thrift store, it was literally $1. I picked it up. I got The Case for Christ by Lee Strobel. My husband might already own this, but he wasn't really sure. And it was supposed to be $1, and we got out to the checkout and they said it was free. So no harm in getting an extra copy in case we already had it. I went to Goodwill and they had like the most beautiful antique books ever there. And so I had to pick them up, even though I haven't read any of them. One is The Border Legion by Zane Grey. From what I can tell, this is a Western, and that's pretty much all I know about it. It was published in 1916, so it is over 100 years old, and I never find books like that just sitting at Goodwill. And it's so beautiful, so it was worth taking a shot on for $1. I also got this copy of The Razor's Edge, gosh, I can't say that, by Somerset Maugham. Don't really know anything about him, but I just like recently heard a book or two of his mentioned somewhere. I don't even remember. So pick that one up. And then lastly, this lovely treasure that is like falling apart. So pretty. It's The Black Tulip by Alexander Dumas, which I've never even heard of, but I love The Count of Monte Cristo and Three Musketeers, and so I picked this one up because it's so lovely. It is falling apart like really badly, and I don't know how hard it would be to try to get it like rebound. I think I could still read it if I'm very careful with it, but it has no date on the inside, so I'm actually not sure how old it was, but I couldn't not get it. I got a few other lovely classics while thrifting. I got this edition of David Copperfield. How stinking pretty is it? It's got the gilded pages and everything. I had David Copperfield, but it was a mass market paperback. So I picked this one up. And also, in a very similar edition, Vanity Fair, which I have not read, but it's so pretty. Couldn't say no. We also went to Ollie's, which is like kind of like a discount store. It's very similar to Big Lots, if you have one of those, or Ocean State Job Lot, similar to those. And I got this 3-book box set of the Mr. Limoncello books. Several of them are off somewhere because my daughter has been reading them and really enjoying them. I also won a giveaway this month, which like never happens. I'm so excited. I won The Yellow Crocus. I don't know much about this book. It is historical fiction. I think it has to do with like a black wet nurse kind of raising this white child, sort of. But I won it from House of Books on Instagram. She was doing like a World of Books challenge, and I did not read all the prompts on there, but each prompt completed counted as an entry, and I had read like a couple of them, like 2 or 3, and I won it, and I was so excited. Okay, now all of these other books, all of them, are from library sales, and I paid 10 cents for most of them, and I think there was a couple of them that I paid 25 cents for. I shared some of them on Instagram, so if you follow me there, you've probably seen a few of them. First, I got this Willa Cather book, Death Comes for the Archbishop. I've read no Willa Cather, but I've heard good things about my Antonia, and I own that one, so this one being only 10 cents, I was like, yeah, I'll give that a try, because I've mentioned before that my library is very small, and the interlibrary loan is only for our county, and it's a very small rural county. They do an amazing job of making sure that they get new books in all the time, but because of that, it is really hard to find older books and more classic books. So kind of been stockpiling those. I also got this book. It's got Greek plays of Aeschylus, Sophocles, Euripides, and Aristophanes. So I feel like there may come a point in Claire's school that we will need to read these, so that's mostly why I picked it up. I got The Life of Pi, which I have not read nor seen the movie, but again, 10 cents, figured I'd give it a try. I got The Bean Trees by Barbara Kingsolver. She wrote the Poisonwood Bible, which I also own and got at a library sale, but I haven't read yet. So maybe I shouldn't have picked this one up because I don't even know if I like her writing style. Guess we'll find out. I also got this book, Friendship According to Humphrey. The Humphrey books are like the cutest chapter books. It's about a hamster who is like a class pet at school, and it's really cute. We've picked up a lot of them over at thrift stores over the years, and this I think might be the only one that we don't own. I also found the first Artemis Fowl book. I read this a few years ago and didn't really love it, but I think that my daughter would. It just kind of felt like one of those middle grade books that just didn't connect with me as much. Maybe I'm too old for it, I don't know. But there's a lot of people I know on here who are adults who love Artemis Fowl, so could have just been me, but my daughter loves magical stuff, so I think she'll really like it. Here's another book that Christy Lewis influenced me on, and it's Isaac Storm by Eric Larson. This is about the great flooding that happened because of a hurricane in the year 1900 in Galveston, Texas. I am a little familiar with the history of that because we actually have family that lives in Galveston, and we went and visited them a couple years ago and went and like toured all kinds of like historical stuff about the hurricane, and so I do know a little bit about it, but I'm really interested in reading this book. I have not read any Eric Larson before, but I've heard that he's an excellent nonfiction writer, so I'm looking forward to diving into it at some point. I also found this lovely hardcover of Daphne du Maurier classics, and I love me some Daphne du Maurier. I love her writing style. I love Rebecca and Jamaica Inn and The Scapegoat. I didn't love My Cousin Rachel. It made me very uncomfortable, and I think that was the point, but I don't know, bordered too much on incest for me, I think. So the books in this collection are Don't Look Now, The Apple Tree, oh I remember that one, that's a good one. The Blue Lenses, The Birds, The Alibi, and Not After Midnight. Oh, it's illustrated too. I bet you can guess which book that's from if you've ever watched or read The Birds. I also got a couple of Robin Hobb books. I think these are from the Farseer trilogy. So we've got Assassin's Apprentice and Royal Assassin. This one's in pretty good shape. This one's a little beat up, but they were only 10 cents. And I have heard so many people say how much they love this series. And so I want to give it a try. I also got Crocodile in the Sandbank by Elizabeth Peters. This is an Amelia Peabody mystery, and I remember Kate Howe talking about this and really enjoying it and saying it was just really funny. So I'm looking forward to reading this one, and I already have plans to read it with some people, so that's kind of cool. I also got The Dispossessed by Ursula Le Guin. I read nothing by her either, but I'm getting ready to read Wizard of Earthsea, which I think is more middle grade. This is not, this is adult, and this is sci-fi, not fantasy. But I've heard she's kind of like the queen of sci-fi, so I don't know if you like Ursula Le Guin, or Le Guin, maybe I'm saying her name wrong. I don't know. But if you like her, is this a good one? Is it a good place to start? I'd love to know. I also got Red Rising. This book needs no introduction. Apparently everybody but me has read it. I actually don't even know what it's about. I just know everyone loves it. So I'm gonna give it a try. I got Queen of the Tearling. I actually heard about this book from Elliot Brooks. It's a fantasy, I think maybe it's a standalone. I can't remember if it's a standalone or not, but I remember it sounding really interesting. It is YA, and YA, fantasy and I do not always get along, so we'll see. I'm willing to give it a try for 10 cents. I got Lore by Alexandra Bracken. Alexandra, not Alexander, sorry. I love this cover so much, and I love Greek mythology. I think this just came out earlier this year or the end of last year. I don't know if it's been well received, if people liked it or not. I just remember seeing the cover everywhere and knowing it was about Greek mythology, so I definitely want to read it at some point. I found this YA book called To Stay Alive, and I was originally drawn to it because the cover is so beautiful, but it's a historical fiction and it is about the Donner Party. So maybe it'll be kind of gross, but since it's YA, I'm hoping it won't be super gross, but I think it's gonna be interesting and I definitely want to read it. I got a couple books for free also. I got this Jean Fritz book about Teddy Roosevelt, and I like Jean Fritz's history books for Claire, so picked that one up. I also picked up this collection of Christy Miller books. This was Christian fiction from I think when I was like a kid or a teenager, and I know a lot of people my age read them and enjoyed them, and like the name sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't remember whether or not I've read them. So this one was free, and it's got the first 3 books in the series, so I figured I'd read it and see if it's something maybe Claire would like to read at some point. I'm not sure. Okay, I saved my favorite 3 for last. These are only 10 cents each, and they are in like perfect condition, and I'm so excited about them. So the first one is The Italian by Anne Radcliffe, and I also found The Mysteries of Udolpho, also by Anne Radcliffe. So I've never heard of The Italian, but The Mysteries of Udolpho is a novel, like a sensationalist novel, that is referenced in Northanger Abbey. And ever since I read Northanger Abbey, I have wanted to read this book because they reference it and I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. So I really wanted to read it. But then they had this one too. And so I'm like, yeah, for 10 cents? Yeah. And they're like in perfect brand new condition. I don't know. My library doesn't even carry any Anne Radcliffe. I looked after I read Northanger Abbey and they don't carry any of her books. So I don't know if these were donated or what, because these are not ex-library books at all. Like they're brand new. So super excited. And then they also had Oathbringer for 10 cents. Can you believe it? And it's in like brand new condition. perfect floppy paperback. I actually have Way of Kings and haven't started it yet. And then I also have book 4 because Book Outlet had a hardcover version of it for like $6 or $7. And I was like, that is way cheaper than I will pay if I buy it new, so I got it. So I books 1 and 4, and I believe this is book 3, and it's paperback, so it doesn't match my hardcovers. But again, for 10 cents, I am not a snob, so I do not care. So that's it. You know, just a couple of books, as one does, but you know, most of them were under $1, and most of the ones that were under $1 were 10 cents. So, you know, you can't pass them up when they're prices like that, right? I mean, tell me I'm right. I'm right? So I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What book are you most excited about that you have bought recently? And if you got a really good deal on it, you can totally brag about that too, because that's just the best feeling. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like and also subscribe so you can continue to see more bookish content from me, and I will see you again next time.